We are Marc, Amy, Juliette and Clement from the medieval Chateau de Rosieres. This Christmas we've made you a very special advent calendar. Every day from the 1st to the 25th of December we will open the door to a different room in the chateau and introduce you to its past, present and future. Merry Christmas.
Hello everybody, this is Amy, Marc, Clement and Juliette from Chateau de Rosieres. I'm sure most of you watching this have watched every other one of our Advent videos, but if not, we are doing a deconstructed chateau tour, which is going to be an in-depth tour of 25 rooms of the chateau's 33 rooms, every day from the 1st to the 25th of December. And it's a no-holds-barred tour showing you the good, the bad and the ugly. And at the moment, we are showing you around the top floor, which is the derelict floor.
The ugly.
The ugly. The soon-to-be beautiful. Today, we've got probably the most special room of the chateau, at least the one that's got that's most spectacular and which we have amazing future plans for. Which room are we in today, Marc?
We are in the Magnanerie.
What's a Magnanerie, Marc?
It is a silk weaving room.
Because everyone knows that.
Yeah, of course. Silk industry was a very big thing in the area mostly in the 18th and 19th century. It was a very good cash crop for local farmers who were selling their product to the silk weaving factories in Lyon that were very, very big at the time. We don't know 100% that this was definitely a Magnanerie, but we have very, very strong hints that it was the case. The biggest one being these shelves behind me, that were really characteristic of these rooms. They were quite wide and deep in order to lay mulberry branches for the silkworms to eat. Then we have this wheel, which was probably part of a winch that would be taken, that would be used to bring heavy things all the way up to the top floor where we are. And we know for sure that one of the windows was actually a door at the time, which means they would have been able to hold big bales up this floor.
The other day, we were in the attic and there was a walled-off section of the attic. And we told you to remember that because we're going to come back to it. Well, today's the day we come back to that. This is the room that was created by walling off part of the attic, removing a floor and making this gigantic room from floor to the roof. And the reason they did that, we believe, is for the silk weaving. And that's because of two very important aspects in the silk weaving. They needed warmth and light. And in a medieval chateau, you don't get an awful lot of light, or often warmth either. So we believe that what happened here was they raised the room to the roof to put skylights in. And you can see that in lots of silk production houses. And my dad showed me a book with it, and also the houses that are in London for this. There are rows and rows of houses with skylights all along the top. Because the way that silk production works is the silkworms eat the mulberry leaves, go into their cocoons, and it's the cocoons that are made of silk. And you have to very, very precisely unravel those cocoons in order to produce the silk that can be then used to weave silk fabric. So you need a lot of light for that. It's very high precision work to be done. And so in this room, you can see with these corbels all around the room where there was an old floor in here. And you can see that the wall along the top is more recent than the other walls in the room. And this room has given us a lot of ideas because it's spectacular. And we want to shine a light, as it were, on the history of this room and also make it something very, very special. Now, a lot of people ask how we found our chateau. We weren't even looking for a chateau. We just wanted a beautiful historic place that we could run as both a business and our home that would allow us to be self-sufficient. And we came to this area to look at another place. And the reason we came to that other place was because it had a beautiful, beautiful library that Marc wanted to see. And the estate agent said, I think you should take a look at this other place that's nearby. And we were like, oh, whatever. And the rest is history. Now, the only downside Marc always says about this place is that there is no beautiful library in it. So we're going to build one.
This room has just the right volume to do a fantastic library with the gallery halfway up the top. We've already talked about this project in a previous video where we talk also about airships and various things. So the link to the video will be here. We have a lot of work to do before we can achieve that. First of all, because we have work elsewhere in the house, and a lot of the piping and electricity need to go through the room in order to be able to do any work elsewhere in the house. When we changed the big heating system, it was an old oil heating system, and we replaced it with the wood chip one. When we changed that, we reused the old chimney of the oil burner as a technical pipe to be able to take water, electricity, heating all the way to the top floor. And so at the moment, the pipes are just sticking out of this chimney. And when we did that, we had to break the base of the chimney in order to be able to pull the pipes. So the chimney is a modern one that was installed in the 1970s in order to be able to have this oil burner. And so we are just going to take it off the roof. But at the moment, it means we have a big hole here, and the room is basically the same temperature as outside, and at the moment it's really freezing.
We're so excited about this room. It's not going to be something we can tackle straight away, apart from the major leaks and problems, because it's not a huge priority. But when it's done, I see it as being the ultimate family room for our family, because we're all quite booky people. I'm a writer, Marc's a researcher, and these two are presumably going to have quite a lot of homework in the coming years. So I've got these images of comfortable sofas, study desks, you know, those green lamps like they have in the New York Public Library. I've got quite a good vision of this.
Not blue?
No, they have to be green, those lamps that go, you know the ones I mean, don't you?
Yeah, but they're blue.
You're winding me
They're
up.
sometimes
No,
blue.
it's going to be green. And I think it's just going to be a wonderful year-round room, this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it will.
We also
And
have
also-
quite a lot of books already, don't we?
Also, if we put skylights at the top, we'll be able to put loads of plants. And
We're not having plants in here.
Amy's allergic to plants,
I'm
which
not.
is very unfortunate being
I
married
love
with me.
plants, but the problem is it's like Day of the Triffids. They start to take over our lives. One day we're going to wake up strangled by them, or not wake up. Yesterday we were giving the kids their bath, and there was a plant in the sink. There was plant mud all over the floor.
That was from your sandal.
No. Do you like plants, Clement? Yeah?
What's your favorite plant?
What's your favourite plant, love?
Red.
Red.
Red? Red plant.
We finally managed to record this with by giving her 2 toothbrushes in her hands so she wasn't playing with the microphones. We hope you enjoyed today's tour. Don't forget, as Mark said, to check out our original tour of this room because there's a whole load of other information. But tomorrow we've got another interesting one for you, not very far from where we're stood now. There's always something we forget to tell you about, and Mark's just remembered something else.
Yeah, what's really interesting about the layout of this room is that we actually see how it was disposed before they turned it into a silk weaving room, so probably before the late 18th, early 19th century. And there are corbels, which mean there was another floor, which we know when we mentioned in the past videos. But also we can see marks of the plasters on either side of the room, which indicate there was probably originally a corridor along here and possibly another division with another room at the other side. So it was subdivided into much smaller rooms.
Did you ever think it would be a good idea to return it to that, to put a roof back and make it into rooms?
If we needed more rooms, it would be, but I think turning it into a library will make it quite unique.
Yeah, I think Clement's decided we've finished. He's packing up the tripod to take back out again. It's true, it's a bit nippy up here.